Hi, this is Ryan, and this is my Module 6 Stepping Stone video, adding a heads-up display. We're going to do things a little bit different this week. We're going to start by running through the game, showing you what's changed, and then hopefully that'll provide a little bit more context to some of the new code that's been added and make things a little bit easier to understand while reading through the code. So with that, let's get started. You'll notice right off the bat, I've got two bars. I got a health bar in red and a stamina bar in green, as well as a textual representation of my stamina. Health is pretty simple. If I come over here, run into my fireball that I have. Come here. I don't want to trigger the camera. It's being difficult. There we go. Yeah, you'll see when I get hit by it, I'm losing health with every hit. So, pretty simple. We'll go over how that works here in a second. And then let's come over here and take a look at my stamina function. When I aim my grappling hook, you'll see my stamina starts to decrease. And then when I release, my stamina stops decreasing, and if I wait a few seconds, it starts to increase again. I've got a couple of debug messages up in the top left. We'll talk about what those mean a little bit more in a second. Right now, the key part is seeing my stamina decreasing, and I release button, it'll increase, and I can press it again while it's increasing to stop it, and it'll start decreasing again. So let's take a look at the code and see how this all works. Here's my begin play function for my third person character. I've got all my variables set up for my health and my stamina. I've got a stamina curve here, which is what controls that smooth animation of my stamina decreasing and increasing. I've got a callback function to set stamina value, and then I've got a finish callback function set to set stamina state, which we'll go over more here in a second. In my tick function, the only thing that's changed is I'm calling my timeline, which is this guy right here. And then moving down to my grappling hook functions, a few things have changed. I added a conditional to my set aim, which is what's being called on a mouse button push. The conditional is if my stamina is nearly zero, then I can't set aiming to true. And aiming to true is what's called in my tick function to call my aim hook. So again, my aim hook is being called on every tick. I've also got the conditional there because if I'm already aiming and I lose stamina, then I don't want to continue aiming my hook. And then I've also got my set stamina here. So this is what's actually depleting my stamina, is every tick I'm losing 5 points of stamina during my aim hook function. Moving down here, these are all brand new functions for my stamina and my health. The first four functions are just getters for my heads up display. Sticking with stamina for a second, I've got my set stamina change, which is like I said, that's what's being called to decrease my stamina while aiming. My update stamina is what's being called to refill my stamina once I release my button. I forgot about that. On my fire hook, at the end of my fire hook, which is being called when I release the button, that's when my timeline stops and is cleared. And then after 5 seconds, my update stamina function is being called from the timer. So the refill happens when I release my mouse button. Sorry about that. So coming back down here, my set stamina value is what's being called in my timeline to reduce my stamina bar. Health is even simpler than that. We're going to start by looking at my fireball. My fireball's been changed. Instead of destroying the actor on a hit, we are applying damage. We're applying 100 points of damage because my full health is currently set to 1,000 points of damage, or 1,000 points. So basically, every time we get hit, we're losing 10% health. The complement to that is my take damage function, which we're gonna come back to can't be damaged in a second, but it sets it to false. Then we update my health by the damage amount, and then after that, if my health is nearly zero, then my player character is destroyed. Otherwise, my damage timer function is called. So let's talk about that real quick. First of all, my can be damaged is set to false, and the reason for that is because what was occurring before was basically the on hit was being called as long as I was continuously in contact with the fireball. So I'm using a timer to basically give myself 2 seconds of invincibility to get away from the fireball before it can damage me again. And that's what the damage timer is doing. Is if I'm not being destroyed, the damage timer is being called, and after 2 seconds, I'm setting my damage state back to true. So I take damage, it gets set to false, I call my damage timer, wait 2 seconds, and then it gets set back to true. And that's what's happening there. That's really it as far as damage and stamina are concerned. I do have my heads up display here, which is pretty simple. I'm just setting my widget to I've got it called health bar object, which is using a constructor helper, which is pointed at my HUD widget. So that's where that's being called from. And then down here in my begin play, we're adding the HUD widget to the viewport. And then in my game mode, we're setting the HUD class to that custom HUD class that we just looked at. And that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at a few other things. I did want to. So first of all, let's talk about that the button press and button release that I mentioned. So you'll notice when I hold the mouse button down, so I've got mouse button pushed up in the top left, I still have my mouse button pushed, and then you'll see my debug line goes away when I hit 0 because I'm not tracing, and then I release my mouse button, and then that's when the timer comes back. So we're going to push it again, and see I got my debug line back, and I go to 0, my debug line goes away. We're going to keep holding it down for a second. We're going to walk around. Notice my stamina is not coming back because I haven't released the mouse button. And as soon as I release it and wait 5 seconds, it comes back. And now let's do one last thing. Let's get to the end of the level and grab the key. Come on. There we go. Now I gotta wait a few seconds to get my stamina back. This is my favorite part right here. Very proud of that. Now we're gonna grab the key and come back, and now I've got my ball is chasing me. So now you'll notice, so every 2 seconds I'm taking damage rather than while being in continuous contact. And that actually gives me a chance to like run away if I get hit by him out, and I can come back rather than have my health being depleted pretty quickly. So now I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to let him kill me. So every 2 seconds I'm taking health, one more, and then my actor's destroyed, which I don't really have handled just yet. And you'll see my ball is going back to its random patrol because there's no actor to pursue. And that's it. Yeah, so we've added a health bar, we've added a stamina bar. Both of them are being updated real time. Oh, let's take a look at the HUD real quick. Almost forgot. It's a pretty simple HUD. There's my health bar. There's my stealth bar or stamina bar. Sorry. There's my text block for my stamina bar. And then we're going to come over here to the graph. And here's my blueprint for getting my health. My blueprint for getting my stamina. And then this is the blueprint for getting the stamina text. The 100 over 100 that we're seeing. And that's it. Thank you.